So we used to say that open source goes beyond the license. So I want to thank you for this very good talk of showing the value added of community to open source and the strength that a project can get from its community. Last year, I already joined OW2 conference and I loved a talk about open governance, how we can organize ourselves to take decisions within within a project and avoid the single vendor pitfall. And me, I have a little story to tell about open standards and potentially what it brings to us. So that's a question I won't answer. That was for making it through the CFP, sorry. But hopefully you will have clues to make your own opinion about the synergy between open standards and open source. So apparently I will need to go a bit fast. So this is the status page from OVH from the past 5 months. I did not check it before coming here, but you see they have a big problem on their S3 implementation. They have lots of features not working with the latest release of some S3 libraries. And why? It's because S3 is a de facto standard, so all object store implement the S3 API. But ultimately, who controls the S3 API? It is Amazon. And Amazon decided to change some checksum calculation as part of their library, their service, and impact the way the drivers they are providing works, and basically break all of the competition object stores right away in a day, and you end up with that beautiful page. So it's just the best example of the danger of relying on somebody else's standard. And for me, proprietary protocol, it's a tool for market domination. You have an unfair advantage with your competition because your proprietary standard is crafted to better serve your interests. And that's so basically what makes an open standard. It means basically that there is a consensus from a plurality of actors that comes and discuss together the standards. Anybody can participate. You can walk literally in the IETF room and in the IETF mailing list and start discussing standards. There's no barrier to this. And you will need to provide technical arguments, but the idea is to reach consensus and do this all in the open, that all the exchange is public and everybody can go and understand why something is done that way. So in the email industry, because I'm in the email industry, we have open standards for a very, very long time. And as you know, if I take my phone to read emails, very likely I'm gonna doing IMAP. IMAP is the protocol to access email stored on the server and show it to the end user. The big problem with the IMAP protocol is that it was designed literally in the 80s. It's a very old and inefficient protocol that is very complex. You literally have 20 layers of RFCs, so that's documents specifying open standard, request for comment, adding layers and layers and layers of complexity on top of IMAP. What's really surprising is that it don't even do its job of synchronizing data well. So just for synchronizing data, you need to have constore, quick resync, and those mechanisms really not easy to understand and even harder to implement. So everybody understands it slightly different and implement it slightly different. Listed tons of problems with IMAP, and while I strongly believe that open standard is the building block of a sovereign solution, IMAP is sadly not the answer, because we won't be able to implement a good solution on top of IMAP. So since the time IMAP was standardized, the way we use email did change a lot. So we all have a mobile phone, which means that we need to care about our battery usage. We can read email in the subway, for instance. When I came here, I was on really degraded network, and everybody have like one phone, one tablet, desktop, and laptop, and so on and so on. So there is a big increase of the count of mail clients. And we also expect real time, so that when I move something on my phone, it's moved straight away on my laptop. And us, as a software vendor, we asked ourselves, okay, we need to do better than IMAP. What can we do? Do we try to re-implement something by our own? So we design a protocol from scratch for synchronizing our webmail with our mail server. And our answer was no, let's look what exists. And we found actually an initiative from a small Australian company called Fastmail, that is the JMAP protocol. So basically JMAP stands for JSON Mail Application Protocol. And the idea is to redesign email protocol from scratch. So it uses a common transport layer that is HTTP. Everybody does HTTP. It uses a data model based on JSON. Everybody does JSON. So parsing is easy. Querying the server is easy. And it built in a lot of mechanism to improve efficiency. On data synchronization, we use an event log. It also brings in back reference that looks like GraphQL, allows you to combine request elements in a single round trip with the server to do complex arbitrary queries efficiently. And it solves most of the pitfall that we encountered with the IMAP protocol. So we were very lucky that it was adopted as a standard in 2019, so the bet did pay. Though, as you might guess, the delta between draft 0 and the final specification in 2019 is not at all the same. So we needed to do quite some maintenance to follow the change of the draft, and it was quite of an adventure. So JMAP, it's an engagement that we have in the James community and at Linagora. We did actually contribute to the normative process of JMAP, because the protocol is very new. We did not have the building blocks that we needed to build a collaborative email solution out of it. So for instance, our team contributed quota, and read receipts. So every time you write a RFC, it starts by a discussion where you say, hey, I've got this problem, I propose myself to write a document about it. And then you have a ping pong of drafts that you receive comments on, and the entire process takes years. And finally gets reviewed by all of the boards within the IETF, and you get the green light, and now it's a standard. We also adopted JMAP as part of our products, and we contributed a server implementation very early in Apache James. Sorry, bad button. And the bet back in 2020 was that having JMAP server would mean that we would benefit from the client ecosystem contributed by some other actors of the mail community. And our big problem was a chicken-egg problem, which is not enough server that implements JMAP means not enough client that propose JMAP support, and vice versa, because there's not many JMAP clients, then there's not a lot of service providers that do propose JMAP. And we decided to break a bit the situation by providing our own mail client, that is Twake Mail frontend. So the idea is when Twake Mail frontend is on top of a Twake Mail server, it provides all features that you expect from a collaborative email solution. And when you take Twake Mail and put it on a regular mail server, then we are able to unplug all of the features like related to autocomplete, to forward management, and so on, to just fall back to the basic experience of reading and sending emails. So Twake Mail is, to my knowledge, the only multi-platform email client. We have it on iOS, we have it on Android, and we have it in a webmail. So it's quite unique in the JMAP community. So who else supports JMAP? We have Cyrus, so that is the historical mail server used by Fastmail, so that is part of the core specification. We have a new player that is Stalwart, and it brings us to very interesting things, is that, for instance, the Stalwart community it's a lot of people doing self-hosting, install Stalwart, and let's just say, hey, I want to have a JMAP frontend. So you know what, I'm gonna install Twake Mail. And a big part of the Twake Mail community is people running their own mail server, not being the Twake Mail backend, and using Twake Mail as a frontend on top of it. So that's more or less it for open standards and JMAP. I just wanted to add something. I'm part of an Apache project, so it's very important that we take consensual decision, and consensual decision is something that takes time. So being able to build as part of the Apache James project on top of an open standards simplifies a lot the process of writing such an awesome mail server, because we don't need to argue and discuss each corner of the JMAP specification. It had already been discussed within the IETF, and the discussion item in Apache James is, should we implement JMAP or not? And then we have all this framework of a beautiful, efficient mail protocol to build on. That's it. I think that's the time range that is imparted to me.